Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to show you how to make this thumbnail that's right in front of you. In the first video, we covered, I think, a fairly basic thumbnail. I didn't get into any highlighting or anything on the figure itself, and I'm not gonna in this video, but I will in the next one. So subscribe to the channel if you wanna see that. In this one, we're gonna cover this thumbnail that's right in front of you. So thumbnail size is 1280 by 720. That's what I've got pulled up here, and we're going to peel this thing back, because check this out. If you look, once I remove this top layer, this is actually a camera raw final filter that I put on the whole image, which I also didn't do in the last video. So this video, you're gonna get quite a bit of additional stuff. Comment below with additional video training that you might wanna see, but let's go ahead and dive into this now. All right, we're gonna take it step by step here. So let's first get rid of or shut off everything down to the bottom. So we start out with a brand new file, right? Which is thumbnail size. And I added in the first piece, which is just a stock photo. I got this from Envato Elements. So I'll have a link below if you wanna sign up to Envato Elements. If not, that's cool too. So check it out. Here's what that looks like. Now, I think this by itself would have been just fine. Like I didn't have to actually mess with this, but I do like to play around with levels and the color just a little bit. So we can do that in two different ways. Let me show you this. First thing we can do, so here is our photo here. Now we can shut off, see, if I shut off the filter, you see I didn't do that much. I actually just tinted it blue. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. We can come down here to the lower right and we can go with, what would it be? I think it'd be probably hue and saturation, and we can play around with it there. Oh, or curves. And we would just tint it blue. Or the thing that I did here is I just selected the layer and I came up to here to filter, and then I went to camera raw filter, and that will, give it a second. Camera raw filter is extremely powerful and I absolutely love it. And I just went here to basic and I literally tinted it. I pulled the temperature towards blue, like watch, see? Like we go super blue if you want to, just to kind of give it that little pop in the background. And again, we could have left it alone, but I like to do that. And then the other thing that I like to do is I like to bump up vibrance. We're talking just a couple, and saturation, just a couple. And then the other thing I love to do, and I do this on every single one, is I go to detail, and even if it's already sharp, and we go sharp, and I'll usually go somewhere between 17 and 35 every single time, and then I'll match noise reduction dang near. But because you can start to see like what's going on with the picture as soon as we sharpen it. Like you see I'm fluctuating the dial here. And so I like the noise reduction because it kind of smooths it out. So this works extremely good on faces, which you'll see it when we do the guy, right? So anyways, I would have done that and then saved it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cancel this, which I actually like that even tinted even more than I've got it. So yeah, I think I just added a little blue and then pulled maybe some exposure out of it. But that's for you to play around with. I just think a lot of people, when you're first getting into using Photoshop and design and stuff, it's like, you're not really understanding what the thing does. You're just looking for somebody to give you like magical settings. And so I'm not here to give you magical settings. I'm more or less here to give you guidelines, and you can kind of create your own magic out of it, right? Okay, so we got our background done now, right? Now we can bring in our guy. So thumbnails, photos, etc. need to have symmetry. Left to right need to have symmetry. So if our guy is gonna be on the right, text on the left. If our guy is gonna be on the left, text on the right. Or our figure or our main character. You also don't need a main character. Like it could be just a really simple thumbnail is just a generic color on the background, like a off gray, I think works really well. And then just text filling up the thumbnail, or text with like some iconography or, like a logo or something. This works extremely well in some niches. It just depends, right? And then if you're in a niche where everyone's taken it super ridiculous and gone off the deep end with heavy design and all this composite work, right? Like, Mr. Beast or something like that. Those are composite photos. They're bringing in a sky, they're bringing in a land piece, they're bringing in him, and then there's some sort of other thing that's like the action piece. And because they do that, it doesn't require a lot of text in the thumbnail. Now, you can choose to do a heavy composite photo like that, or do something like this, which is conveying your message just in a different way. So this is gonna be like a text-heavy thumbnail, right? Okay, our guy now. Let's look at our guy. Here he is right here. Okay, so we did a few different things to him, didn't we? So he was just on a pink background. So let me show you how we do this. Like, you ready for this? It's really this easy now with Photoshop. Before, you would have had to take the pen tool. Now, you come over here to quick selection tool. Up here, select subject. Give it a minute. Yay! Look at that. See how easy that is? Now, if I want to zoom in, let's go to this one. Alt and scroll in. Now, if I want to add or subtract, I click Alt to subtract or take away, and I just use regular mouse click to add. So if I wanted to try and get the rest of this hairline, I want to zoom in and do like this, right? And so just try and grab it like that. Now, if I want to get rid of it, then just Control Z. I think it's Command Z probably on Mac, and take it all the way back. He's good just like this. So that's all I did. I just went around the edges, and I'm not going all the way down. So that's why I didn't care about getting this, which you could have just cut this out. And we also lost a little bit of his shirt right here, right? But I didn't care, so I didn't do that. So let's get rid of this. And then boom, I dragged him over. And then what we did to him is we added a stroke. So the stroke is just white on the outside, normal, 100% opacity, and 6. I mean, it could have gone a little more, could have gone a little less. I like to almost almost make it look like artistic, like, you know, like I think of Paper Mario, right, from like a video game, and I think of like how obnoxious and ridiculous like the stroke is on those like Paper Mario pieces, and I like that effect, so that's what I'm going for. Outer glow, just give them the pop off the page a little bit, but also too, like, it thins out the background around the subject and allows that to just kind of stand out a little more. So here we are, screen as the blend mode, opacity is 35%, spread is 0, and size is 55%, softer, white. There you go. Okay, so now the subject is done. We haven't done any correction on him at all because I thought, man, this guy looks so clean, I won't do it until the very end. And so that's what I did next. So next I was like, okay, let's do the text. And I started with this. So I started with the first one, and I wanted to get it to like really pop. There's a few different ways we can do that. I could have done that with all shadows on just one layer, but I just decided, hey, it's even easier. Let me just stroke the first one, and then I will add another layer, stroke that a different color, and add an additional drop shadow, and I'll accomplish the same thing. So here's this, stroke 4 outside, color is 333, which is like a off black, right? A gray off black. And this thing's hanging funny. There we go, better. And that's the first one. So click OK, and then let's get rid of him. Here's the second one. So let's take a look at this second layer now. I just duplicated it, okay? Control C, Control V, or Control D, I think, is to duplicate. Okay, so did I do drop shadows on this? Oh, I didn't. I actually got away from drop shadows completely, but you see I had them here, so I'll show you that in just a second. So then this was 6 outside, all black. So now we put them together, and then I just kicked it down. So I just hit the down arrow a couple times. And what do you know? So look, he's gone now, and now he's back. So that just makes it look more 3D. So that's an easy way to accomplish like 3D lettering. And I didn't even have to do that. I could have just gone no stroke on the duplicate and just made it black and then just dragged it down. And I would accomplish literally the same thing, right? Well, it might have. I might have had to stroke it more because I did that on the original layer. I don't know, you'd have to play around with that, but this is an easy way to do it. What else I could have done, let's get rid of this for a sec. How did I have it originally? I think I was using drop shadows, so let's get rid of stroke. So yeah, look at this. I was trying to accomplish the same thing with drop shadows, and I just didn't like this. So this is another way to make this look, you see how it looks a little 3D, but it's not popping enough. So I could have easily, let's get rid of the big one. So I could have easily just stretched these out a little bit. So this is distance 3, size 6. I could have bumped that up a little bit. And then on the second one, which is the dark color, to get it to really pop, to create that 3D look, again, I could have dragged this a little bit, each one increasing a little bit. So let me show you here, see? We would accomplish pretty similar. So let's go 5, okay? And then let's go back to this one. Let's give it a little bit more black. So let's go maybe 4 here. Let's go 7 here, kind of there. This might have been too much, so let's go 6. And then our big one. I just didn't want to do this big blown out one either as like the final, which you could pull that back in. See, looks pretty similar, right? Got a cool 3D look. So a lot of times too is I'll make these and then I'll just save them and I'll just drag and drop them from file to file. I don't try and recreate this from scratch. I don't try and memorize like, oh, I had this one set at this. I will literally just be like, oh, I like that font that I did over here, or I like the effect I did, and then I'll just drag it in and use it that way, right? That's it. Okay, so let's get rid of these and put the stroke back on and turn him back on. Okay, now look, we're like there. So all I did now was I wanted something else because like this is just text heavy. So let's break that up, make it fun, bring in a shape. So I just brought in a rectangle. What is our 2 pixels as the edge? Okay, so if you want to duplicate, and this is that same off gray that I used originally, which is 3363s, the color code for that. And I brought in revealed, same font, which we didn't cover the font. Let me cover that. You should be able to see it right here. For big condensed, this is a free font. This is basically Fortnite font. So if you Google search Fortnite font, you'll find this. Okay, cool. And then revealed, and I just put that in white because I originally had it in yellow, thought it looked better in white. And then I just grabbed all these layers together. So boom, all 4, come over here and then Control T, and I just altered it. See, I could go any which way I want, right? Easy. Let's pull that back. Okay, now this is looking really good. So now the 2 together, I think fit well, and it draws your attention and it grabs your attention, and that's the whole point. Now, this can be the title of your video as well, like the text that's on this, or it can be something that complements or supplements the video title. So then you can say something in the video title and support it with this image to make it one cohesive story. But remember, the thumbnail can't say something different than the title. The title and thumbnail make the story complete. So if you got a longer story to tell, then that's when you'd use both pieces together to tell that story. Make sense? All right, so we're basically there. Now, what we need to do is click on the very top layer. We go Control Shift Alt E, and it merges everything, but on a new layer. So if you were to just do, Control E, select every layer on the board and do Control E, it'll merge all the layers, but into one layer. If you do Control Shift Alt E on Windows, it will merge it all into a new layer. And then this is the layer that we come up here and do filter and then camera raw filter. Now the magic happens. Okay, so we're looking at the raw photo here. Let me just take you through this. What do I play around with first? I do vibrance, bring that, let's try 6. Okay, I like that. That's at 6.2. Now, if I want to play around with any of the tinting, like tint the whole thing, I would do that here. So like, okay, if we want to bring in a blue vibe, you see that blue vibe I just brought in? Okay, I don't want to. Look at that, we can make it more yellow, which I don't think that's doing it either. I mean, that's not bad to do it like that, but we're gonna bring that back to 0. Okay, so vibrance, saturation. I don't usually mess with curve because I've already done that. Okay, now sharpening. I usually bring this way up, but look, as I bring it up more, I'm actually bringing in more wrinkles under his eyes. Look at this. I mean, it's really obvious the higher I bring it, right? So it looks fake now, which if you want it to look fake, if you want it to look that, then you can. And you could also go completely obnoxious. So we're at 100 on sharpening. Now, if we bring in noise reduction, there it is. Okay, if we bring in noise reduction, look at what it actually starts to create. It actually starts to make him look like fake, like arty, like he was painted. And now if you're going for that, that can be really cool too. Do that. That applies more to like, if I'm doing like gaming thumbnails, right? For this, doesn't really apply. So what we're gonna do is bring that back down to 0, bring that back down. Okay, here's our original. Now we wanna bring him, yeah, so I wanna just start seeing the stuff under the eyes, right? 29, and we bring up noise reduction to like match that basically. Now let's come down a little more, right there. So I've essentially smoothed back out the wrinkles and brought like a depth and a very like realistic, I guess, look to that, right? And color noise reduction, that's new. I really don't play around with that. Oh, that's cool. I like that. So look under his eyes. You can see it really under his eyes, playing around with the shadow. Interesting. Where else are we seeing that? The money. We're kind of seeing it on the money. Very faint. Okay, so now we're there, right? What's the final thing? We come down to effects and we add a little grain. Somewhere between 6 to 8 is all I like to do. And grain, like, look, this is what too much grain looks like, okay? So you can see this. This looks stupid. Again, you might want to go for this. If you're going for like, trying to represent like old school media or old school like ads, you could do this on part of it. Like if you're trying to, again, you could recreate a newspaper and make that if you wanted to. If I wanted to just put this on the money to get the money to pop in a different way, I could have filtered the money just like this and added an insane amount of grain on just the background. But we're coming over the top of the whole thing. So I usually just add a little bit because now you can just faintly see it. Look over the letters, look over the hand, look over him. You can just faintly see a little bit of grain added in just so it doesn't look so fake. It doesn't look so good and so polished. And then that's it, bang. So now let's compare, right? Here's the one I just did. There's the original. There's the other final. Almost like this one better. And that's it. So then the most important steps here is this final layer, like merging it, making a new layer, and doing your final camera raw, color grading, correction, stuff on it if you want to, right? That is probably the most important step. And as we grow on this channel and talk about more intricate, more composite type work, is that step of the process becomes more and more important. So anyways, that's it. That's all I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Comment below if you got questions or you got suggestions for other videos that you want to see, and like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And that's it. Bye.